I'm Kim Campbell. I'm former Prime Minister of Canada. I'm still, as of this date, March the 18th, 2014, the only woman to have ever been Prime Minister of Canada. Although in my country, 4 of the provincial governments are now led by women, and that's a good thing. So we're getting there, but still no other woman Prime Minister. I come from British Columbia. I come from Vancouver on the west coast of Canada. So I didn't grow up in the context of our nation's capital or the area of people who were most involved and most likely to become leaders and prime ministers. So in some ways I was an outsider, but I was elected to Parliament in 1988 and soon was appointed to Cabinet. I became the first woman Minister of Justice and Attorney General of Canada and the first woman Defence Minister. So I had a quite remarkable career and experience of doing things that no other woman had done. And then when Brian Mulroney announced that he was going to step down as leader, my party elected me as leader. It was like a primary campaign across the country. What advice can I give for people who want to be president or prime minister? First of all, I think you have to not be too influenced by all of the advice people give you about whether you need to be blonde or brunette, tall or short, or come from here or come from there. Because if you look at the women who've become presidents or prime ministers around the world, they're very varied. Some of them come from families that are political, and that give them some experience or maybe some credibility or a famous name, and that can be helpful. And lots of men come that way too. Like myself, I did not. But I think the most important thing is to understand what it takes to be a leader in your society. What are the kinds of qualities and what are the relationships that you need to build? So, for example, in a parliamentary system, you need to build relationships with the other members of your party who are in Parliament. You need to get to know the party people across the country if you have national elections for leader, as we do in our country. So you need to know who are the people whose support I need and what kinds of things will make me a credible leader. So you need as much experience as possible. The famous American scholar on leader, Howard Gardner, has talked about famous leaders. And one of the things he says is that they have strong views on things. And you need to think to yourself, why would I really want to do this? What is there that I would like to make happen if I were to become a leader? Because you need to have some kind of passion and vision. But also, he said that leaders travel. And by that, he doesn't just mean geographically. He means that they get outside of their own comfort zone. My country is a very huge country. We have 2 official languages. We have Indigenous people who are very different all across the country. It's a huge country with prairies and mountains and big cities and rural areas. One of the things that being a member of Parliament allowed me to do was to get to know the other members of Parliament who represented these areas and go to their constituencies and travel as a minister to get to know my country. So I guess I would say to you, if you want to be a leader, you can never know too much. So you need to know what are the questions. You don't necessarily need to know all the answers. You need to read widely to understand what are the issues of your day. What are the things that you might confront as a leader? What's happening in the world in terms of foreign policy? Where are the areas of instability? What's happening into your country's economy? What are the future challenges that you're going to face? Get to know as much as possible. And one of the best ways to get to know things is meet people and talk to them. Get to know your country as well as you possibly can. Get to know the people in the political party that you feel is closest to your views. Get to understand, what it takes to be a leader there. And decide in your own heart whether this is really what you want to do. Not everybody who tries will get there, but sometimes when you try, you don't get there, you wind up someplace else. It's equally interesting that you never really dreamed about. But you should know that really the most important thing about a leader is a sense of commitment and passion, a willingness to get knocked down and get back up on your feet again. There aren't very many people who've just had an unbroken line of success to the very top. Read about leaders. Read about, if you're a woman particularly, read about women leaders around the world. Read their biographies, try to figure out what it is that they have done and how they did it. Not necessarily because you'll do it, but to get a sense of the experience and the possibilities. But most of all, just go for it. You know, it matters. Democracy matters. It matters that people will take on the responsibility of democratic governance. Sometimes people say, oh, I don't want to be involved in politics, it's too adversarial, controversial. But that's because it's about real things. It's not an abstract exercise. It's about real values and real interests. And that's why people struggle hard. They want to have the influence. So you have to say to yourself, somebody is going to have power. Power exists in a society. And if you would exercise it wisely and fairly and in the national interest, why shouldn't it be you? So go for it.